Good evening, good day, good night, whatever you are, whatever time watching you this video. This is Albert Wesker speaking, and this week in Destiny, the TWAB, June 19, 2025. This week in Destiny, we are getting ready for our next developer stream. These things take time, so we are also telling you all about one of the biggest systemic changes we are introducing with the Age of Faith. It's a topic that you may not have heard about yet, so get ready for it. And for the rest of our weekly topics, of course, save the date, all dungeons in Fight of the Nine, introducing an additive melee damage, exotic armor tuning preview, last call for the final shape bungee reward. Tune in to our next developer stream. Join us on Tuesday, June 24th at 10 a.m. PT as we give an in-depth look at the Age of Fate. We'll have the dev team on the floor ready to share many details about Armor 3.0 and the new ability stat system to show you some new weapons and more. Everyone watching our developer stream on the Bungie Twitch channel for at least 15 minutes and with their Bungie ID linked will earn the Astromancy emblem as a Twitch drop. More emblems to God of Emblems, I guess. Ride of the Nine continues. Guardians, the Emissary, and the Nine still require your attention. the Nine will require our attention at least June 15. At least. After making all dungeons available last week and turning on increased rewards for them, we are entering a new Rite of the Nine cycle. All dungeons remain active and can be played at players' leisure, but only one of them has increased rewards active, so you can go back and farm for resources and weapons if you are still chasing some of them. We have another update coming on July 1st. Excuse me. The emissary will start giving away nonary engrams that are filled to the brim with hand-picked cosmetic rewards spanning multiple years of Destiny 2 content. Some are newer like holochips and others are a blast from the past like Crimson Days emotes. Check the calendar below so you don't miss anything that is coming. Until July 24th, until June 24th, increased currency drops will be active for all dungeons. From June 24th, all dungeons are available and one will have increased currency rewards and the chance for weapons to drop from enemy kills, as well as increased loot from the final boss chest when completing an damn it, what is this? Excuse me. As well as increased loot from the final boss chest when completing all encounters in the featured dungeon. Week of June 24, Spire of the Watcher. Week of July 1, Ghost of the Deep. Week of July 8, Prophecy. Starting June 24th, sorry, somebody was distracting me. Starting June 24th, the Emissary will offer a handful of exotics for players looking to round out their exotic weapon arsenal. More will be added each week through the Age of Fate launch. From July 1st until July 15th, players can earn nonary engrams. Starting July 1st, players may purchase nonary engrams using 350 nonary manifold at the Emissary, up to 20 during Rite of the Nine. Starting July 8th, players will be awarded one additional nonary engram each day just for signing in. Just be sure to claim it from the Emissary. From July 8th until July 15th, Lootapalooza will begin. Increased currency rewards and weapon drops from enemies in all dungeons. Even more increased loot from the final boss chest when completing all encounters. Melee damage is changing in the Age of Fate. Hello there, there is this Destiny 2 sandbox team ready to talk about one of the most significant systematic overhauls coming with the Age of Fate. additive melee damage stacking. The short version is almost all sources of increased melee damage are buffed. All sources of increased melee damage stack at full efficiency in PvE. We are using additive damage increase calculation for melee damage, how melee damage worked in the past. Currently in Destiny 2, most sources of increased damage in Destiny 2 are multiplicative. 2 hypothetical 50% damage increase, a 1.5 increased damage are multiplied together for total 155 or 2.25x damage increase. This approach to damage increases has some problems. For one, the more damage increasing effects applied at a time, the more powerful they all become, which means that the best builds and strategies can start to revolve around simply having as many buffs as possible. This is a pattern we saw in Destiny 2 prior to the mutually exclusive empowering damage buff system. Additionally, balancing the game becomes more and more difficult the more sources of increased damage we add. Well, maybe you shouldn't play all the time in your favorite game called balance this and nerfing that. Maybe you'll just add some things and leave it them as they are, not without tweaking them after you release them, because you sometimes Bungie you forget that sometimes you should just add this just for the fun's sake, not for the sake of balancing. I understood that you want to compete in the wave with the World of Warcraft because so many classes out there with the race buffs also. And yes, in World of Warcraft you need to play a freaking balance this, nerf that. But in Destiny, you just this is you just crossed the line, Bungie, with this. We're buffing this and nerfing that. We're buffing this class and nerfing that class. This is just too much. We do not want to have choose between bosses being one-shot by players who are stacking as many buffs as possible, or bosses feeling like bullet sponges to players who are not. How melee damage will work now? When the Edge of Fate is releasing on July 15, melee damage increases in Destiny 2 will be additive. That means 2 hypothetical 50% damage increases will be added together for a total 100% damage increase. Now, this does result in a lower damage ceiling for melee abilities, and it is unlikely that most bosses will ever be one-shot with melee abilities going forward. But because we do not need to worry about someone stacking these melee buffs and trivializing most content in the game, we can do 2 very cool things. We are buffing almost all effects that increase melee damage, some of them by double the damage they do now. In PvE, melee damage increasing effects always stack at a full value if applicable. Our goal with these changes is to make it much easier to create a personalized build that works the way you want. Many potential combination of melee abilities and build crafting allows are now much stronger than they were. We are very excited to see what melee builds you will all cook in the Edge of Fate with these new changes. Well, we'll see. Systematic updates. In this new system, every effect that increases melee damage has been converted to use additive damage stacking. Every item that has been changed as part of this has been listed below, with a single exception. New melee stat introducing with Armor 3.0 increases the damage of melee abilities when going over 100 points, up to an extra 30% at 200 stat. The damage bonus provided by the stat is considered to be an increase to the base damage of a player's melee attacks and abilities, and is multiplicative with other damage increases. In short, if you are putting together a melee build, you will want to get your melee stat as high as possible. Additionally, melee damage no longer scales scorch and ignition damage generated by melee attacks. Oh, this probably hit warlocks the most. The logic behind these changes is similar to the logic underlying the jolt damage scaling changes we made a while back. We think it's healthier for elemental verbs to have consistent consistent effect regardless of the source that applied them. We have opted for a more targeted change here, and Incinerator Snap and Concentration Slam remain powerful options both as centerpiece abilities in melee focus builds and a potent damage focus tools in other builds. Oh shit. Like imagine you have your friend play maining a warlock and then you say, can you imagine like you no longer you no longer can apply scorch to targets. Can you imagine his reaction like
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
something like this. Now, oh, about glaives. They talking something about glaives. Let's read it. As part of our melee overhaul, we are revisiting the role of glaives to the sandbox. So sorry. We would like glaives to find a more permanent home in melee-focused builds, where they provide a defensive tool to help you close in on your targets and a faster and more potent unpowered melee ability than Guardians would have otherwise. That's right. Glaive melee is considered an unpowered melee ability in the Age of Fate. What? What?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The the unpowered melee? Uh, okay. Anything that increases the strength of unpowered melee abilities will now increase the strength of glaive melee, including the melee stat. This does come at a cost. While glaives have much clearer role and have a higher damage ceiling, we needed to reduce their base melee damage in PvE. Oh, for God's sake, another... Oh, fuck. I hate every time you're doing something, Bungie, and you need to reduce something. We need to reduce their base melee damage in PvE to bring it more in line with unpowered melee attack. But even after these changes, glaive melee has a much higher damage per second output that unpowered melee attack do. Yeah, of course. In short, if your build relies on unpowered melee damage, glaives will be the best way to increase your unpowered melee DPS even further. Glaive melee is now considered to be a type of unpowered melee ability. They now receive melee damage increases at a full effect in all cases where an unpowered melee ability would, including the damage increases from Syntheseps, Knockout, Offensive Bulwark, Combination Blow, Spark of Feedback, Worm God Caress, Banner of War, and Stylish Executioner. Glaive melee now triggers and all effects that are triggered by any melee ability. They will no longer benefit from some weapon damage bonuses, such as Radiant, as it's no longer weapon damage. Interesting. Effects that modify the behavior of basic melee attacks, such as the Titan Aspect Knockout that changes basic melee attacks from kinetic to arc, will not affect the behavior of glaive melee. Glaive melee damage in PvE has been adjusted to compensate for their increased access to melee damage increasing effects. Glaive melee damage against minor and majors has been reduced by 40%? What? Excuse me, but what's the point? The glaives by themselves, they are niche weapons at best. Now you're making them even less desirable option. What's the point? What the fuck was the point? Oh god. Glaive melee damage against champions and mini-boss have reduced by 28.5%? God. What the hell then is the point of a glaive now? Me as a hunter even though I have a specific exotic for glaive specific weapons, but now what's the point of a melee? with these so-called changes, you're just nerfing the glaives to the ground, even though the like one or two people at best use glaives in on all servers and all platforms. Glaive melee damage against bosses and vehicles has been reduced by 50%. So does that mean that I can now throw away all of my glaives? Gladly. Below, check out the list of melee changes we have made to abilities, exotic armor pieces, and weapon perks so that they can shine in the new system. Be mindful that this list does not cover all the sandbox tuning plans we have for the Age of Fate, just the melee focused ones. We are covering exotic armor changes in section below, and we will share everything about weapons and abilities in the future tweet. Oh, so we're still waiting for another changes. So Warlocks no longer apply Scorch by Incinerator Snap, and glaives are received a huge freaking nerf, even though not that many people even using them, because who would want to use instead of a gun? Who want to use a freaking polearm who can shoot projectiles, even though it can raise some shield? Not that many, even though even the hunters didn't use them, even though the hunters have specific exotic hands, which increasing and making the glaives more better in play. But again, who in their freaking mind will use a glaive, especially now? Abilities changes for melees or classes. Prismatic, oh nice. Facet of Courage, PvE melee damage bonus increase from 10% to 50%? Oh, this is actually a buff. Okay. Arc, Spark of Feedback, PvE melee damage bonus increase from 75% to 100%. Ooh. Now works with glaive melee at full effect. PvE, who cares about glaives at this point, honestly? You can just delete all of your glaives from your vault space, because what's the freaking point even using them now? What's the point? Like, for Bungie, for fuck's sake, just create some specific supportive glaive so that the weapon wasn't that powerful as you made them at first, and still nobody using them even toward this day. Just create some supportive glaives so the other people will at least have the option of using them, just like you did with supportive assault rifles, because support assault rifles they're useless without the perk which give you the restoration. PvE melee damage bonus is no longer decreased when used with Syntheseps, Liar's Handshake, Knockout, Wormgod Caress, 1-2 Punch, or Winter's Guile. Titan. It's Prismatic in general and Arc in general. Now we have class specifics. Titan. Roaring Flames. Maximum PvE damage bonus increased from 73% to 200%. Roaring Flames. Does that the super where he solar Warhammer he can summon? As a note, Roaring Flames increase solar ability damage, and glaive melee is always kinetic. We have opted to follow the rules as written for this one for now, so Roaring Flames does not scale glaive melee damage. Who cares? Melee damage bonus is no longer decreased when used with Peregrine Greaves, Wormgod Caress, 1-2 Punch, or Syntheseps. Knockout. PvE unchanged melee damage bonus increased from 100% to 160%. PvE charged melee damage bonus increased from 50% to 160%. PvE charged melee? What does that mean? Okay. Increased melee damage now works with glaive melee at full effect. Offensive Bulwark. PvE melee damage bonus increased from 100% to 160%. Increased melee damage now works with glaive melee at full effect. You should have. Well, oh no. I shouldn't say that. There is a lot of more weapons coming in Age of Fate. Melee damage bonus is no longer decreased. Sorry. Melee damage bonus is no longer decreased when used with Syntheseps. Banner of War. Melee damage bonus for user and allies increased from 40% to 100%. Melee damage bonus is no longer decreased when used with Worm God, Keras, Syntheseps, or Glaive melee. The damage bonus provided to Blade's Fury melee attack is unchanged. Oh, okay. Oh, Hunter. Stylist Executioner. Oh, PvE melee damage bonus increased from 200% to 300%. Wow, great. Now works with Glaive melee at full effect. Now works with every melee ability if the ability makes contact while you are leaving invincibility. In other words, projectile melee abilities like Threaded Spike will benefit from the damage increase if you use at a point blank. Combination blow. Maximum PvE damage bonus increased from 309% to 400%. Increased melee damage now works with Glaive melee at full effect. Now works with Ascension in PvE at full effect. Now works with Grapple melee in PvE at full effect. Wow. Exotic armor changes. Oh, my favorite. Or my favorite. Hunter. Athre's Embrace. PvE weighted throwing knife damage bonus increased from 200% to 300%. So this is the Athre's Embrace, this exotic which is designed around your heavy knife. So this increased weighted throwing knife damage increased from 200% to 300%? Lol. Liar's Handshake and Spirit of the Liar. PvE basic melee and arc melee damage increased from 200% to 400%. Wow. Ophelia's Spade. Maximum PvE throwing knife damage bonus increased from 100% to 200%. Wow. The knives. Let's go. Trident Vice. So yeah, this is the, like I said, it's those hands that you use when you play Hunter for glaive specific builds. PvE glaives melee bonus increased from 100% to 200%. Lol. Well, this might actually prove interesting because with all the nerfs that the glaives receive, the Hunter probably would be the only one who will have at least a decent exotic, which will actually boost the nerf the glaives receive. All right, next Titan, Heart of Inmost Light. Maximum PvE melee damage bonus increase from 20% to 50%. Now increases the damage of unpowered and glaive melee abilities. Oh, okay. Peregrine Greaves. Shoulder charge ability impact damage bonus against non-champions, non-tormentor, and non-mini-bosses targets increased. Well, not that much of a buff, from 363% to 400%. Not that much of a buff, but okay, I guess. Syntheseps and Spirit on the Syntheseps melee damage bonus is unchanged. It's 165%. Wow, such a nice buff. Melee damage. I'm still thinking that Syntheseps as a whole, a shallow shadow what they used to be. Melee damage bonus is no longer decreased when used with combination blow, Stylist Executioner, and glaive melee. Damage bonus is still decreased against players when used with Lightning Surge. Wishful Ignorance. Maximum PvE Frenzied Blade melee damage bonus increased from 100% to 200%. Oh, I remember. It's those hands for the Titan which increase and give them another additional charge of Frenzied Blade melee ability, strand 1. Maximum PvE Flechette Storm melee damage bonus increased from 50% to 200%. Ah, okay. Worm God Caress. Oh, that's actually interesting to read about this. Maximum PvE melee damage bonus increased from 275% to 400%. Ooh. Does that mean that Syntheseps can you can just throw them into a garbage bin? Because like I always, when I made a Titan, I always had had an argument with one of my friends that I always like to use Wormguard Caress, while he always liked to use the Syntheseps. And I always said, like, why are you using Syntheseps? Wormguard Caress is way better. But he was always saying that no, that like the Syntheseps way better. Now with these changes, Wormguard Caress just supreme melee exotic for Titan with its flaming fists exotic perk. Melee damage bonus is no longer decreased when used with roaming flames or glaive melee. Lol. Oh, only one thing for warlock. Shit, I feel so bad for warlocks. Winter's Guile, maximum PvE melee damage bonus increased from 275% to 400%. Oh, well, at least Warlock have a decent buff to their only exotic class hands. I mean, not class, their exotic hands that actually give them a boost for the melee damage, because their melee suck balls. Weapon changes. Oh, this is not over. Okay. Weapon perks. Weapon changes. PvE glaive melee damage bonus increase from what? At first they say that they are decreasing damage to red bars, yellow bars, and the mini bosses, but now they weapon close to melee. PvE glaive melee damage bonus increase from 30% to 60%. Okay, I guess. 1-2 punch. PvE melee damage bonus increase from 100% to 150%. Okay, if you're using shotguns, but like who even using them at this point? Now works for all melee abilities. Melee damage bonus is no longer decreased when used with Liar's Handshake. Increase the time the perks is active to 3 seconds. Ooh. Oh. So it's 8 seconds now? Because I think the perk is active for 5 seconds. And after this, you're just... And after this, the perk is deactivates, but now it's 8 seconds? Lol. Exotic weapons. Bastion. Oh, Bastion. Saint's Fist PvE melee damage bonus increased from 100% to 300%. Talking about Forgotten Exotic. Oh shit. Now works for all melee abilities. Increase the damage the perk is active to 3 seconds. Monte Carlo. Oh, Catalyst melee attack no longer deals reduced melee damage to bosses, mini bosses, and champions. Like, oh, why? Why? I don't understand actually. Really, what's the point of the Monte Carlo Catalyst? Because, like, you're shooting from a fucking assault rifle and you're expecting them to go into the close quarter combat to you? It's beyond me. Winter Bite now receives melee damage bonus from a variety of sources. Reduced enhanced melee damage with ammo to 20% versus bosses down from 50%. Winter Bite. Oh, so this is Winter Bite. Talking about forgotten exotic glaive and heavy slot. So Winter Bite now receives melee damage bonuses from a variety of sources. Reduced enhanced melee damage with ammo to 20% versus bosses down from 50%. Okay, I guess. Exotic armor tuning preview. We mentioned a bunch of exotic armor pieces in the preview section, so it felt natural to go over the other exotics that are changing with the Edge of Fate. Many buffs and reworks here and there, and just a few minor nerfs to keep things balanced and interesting. Hunter, the Dragon's Shadow, and three dots. It has long felt weird how similar the Dragon's Shadow and Speedloader Slacks are in their effects. With both centered and dodging to get stats, they alleviate some of this weirdness. The Dragon's Shadow has gained many of these stats and had its perk updated to fit better with a new side of player stats. The Dragon's Shadow now passively increases weapon stability and ready speed. Passively? Lol. Dodging reloads your equipped weapon, no longer reloads holstered weapons. Oh, a bit nerf here. Activating your dodge ability grants the following effects for a short time: increased stability and handling, increased move speed, increased sprint, slide, and ADS strafe speed, increased class stat. A bit buff and a bit nerf at the same time. Fuck, I so hate this about Bungie with their nerfs and buffings. Speedloader slacks. Speedloader slacks. This is these boots for Hunter. They are, as far as I remember, they are mostly for increasing the weapon reload speed, as far as I remember. So what are they changing there? Speed loader slacks. With these bonuses given away, we took a more PvE oriented approach to speed loader slacks, allowing hunters to be able to provide a benefit akin to Luna faction boots to their allies. What? Benefit akin to Luna faction boots to their allies to be able to carry around doing higher end content? So the Bungie understand the hunters now a punching bag, and nobody wants to take them into the high end PvE. So this is that's why they're changing it. Speedloader slacks adjusted the tight fit perk. Dodging reloads all weapons and grants increased handling and reload speed for you and nearby allies. While this buff is active, additional dodges increase the strength of the buff and refresh the timer. Dealing sustained damage grants class ability energy. Oh, this is actually this is actually a rework, basically. Speedloader slacks. Mask of Bakris. Mask of Bakris. Mask of Bakris has always been an evocative and visually fun exotic, but largely is used as a PvP tool. True enough. We've made some changes to let you play into the Fallen Captain Fantasy even more so in PvE. Fallen Captain Fantasy even more? Let's read it. While also pairing well with the new stats, it's also now usable on arc subclasses and supers. Lol. Mask of Bakris. Effects are now active when either an arc or stasis super is equipped. Lol. A complete rework of this exotic. Reworked light shift. What does that mean? No longer provides a non-stacking surge damage bonus. Now grants 10% damage for eligible weapons, stasis weapon, arc weapons, and Lord of Wolves per stack. And Lord of Wolves? Lol. Stacks up to 3 times. While active weapon final blows grant class ability energy? Man, I love this. Oh, Capri Sting. Capri Sting has been a fairly niche PvP exotic for some time. So we wanted to rework it to something a bit more broadly useful and with more build crafting hooks. Capri Sting, wait a minute. This is the Capri Sting. This one and lonely forgotten hunter exotic which nobody uses. So what does they changing in the Capri Sting exotic arms? Capri Sting has been, again I'll read it, has been a fairly niche PvP exotic for some time, so we wanted to rework it to something a bit more broadly useful and with more build crafting hooks. Capri Sting, remote automatic smoke bomb activation when using a melee attack. Thank God this was idiotic decision in the beginning. Remove true sight when dealing damage with smoke bomb. Okay, no problem. True sight, it's like if in order to rework this, you can remove true sight. Okay, added killing weakened targets creates a burst of weakening smoke and returns smoke bomb energy. Talking about rework, boys. This is cool. So cool. Like. Oh, Oathkeeper. Oathkeeper is the hands for hunter that is. If you like bow play, then and you're a bowman like a Robin Hood type of character, you're a hunter, then these Oathkeepers are the exotic for you. Oathkeepers have been quite worth the time investment to overdraw for the damage bonus, so we've tuned that a bit for some better ease of use and a higher potential payout of damage. Oathkeepers increase maximum damage bonus from 150% to 200%. Straight up buff. Now bows on a hunter is way better than on the other classes. That's cool. Now provides more of the total damage bonus earlier in the overdraw. Great. Blight Ranger. Blight Ranger. Again, they are again changing this exotic. How many times we already see in the TWABs or tweets that they are trying to buff this exotic for that the people are started to using it. Ah, okay, let's see. Blight Ranger. Blight Rangers had a rough time. You're right about this, Bungie. This exotic has a really rough time because nobody freaking using it. With previous balance changes failing to hit the mark. Despite that, we believe that its most recent rework established a playstyle that fits the fantasy of the exotic. However, its cancellation effect still didn't feel worth the investment, especially due to a challenging bug with how its damage scales, so we have given it a bit of extra juice. Actually, a lot of extra juice. Now, let's hear it. Blade Ranger fixed an issue where cancellation damage was not consistently scaling based on voltaic mirror progress. Adjusted voltaic mirror meter behavior now requires 75% less reflection to reach maximum, feels more evenly. Blocked melee attacks now count as reflection. Okay. Maximum cancellation damage increased by 50%. This is in addition to the fix above. Minimum cancellation damage increased by 150%. Now always applies blind before dealing damage. Updated visuals, audio and timing of the blinding shockwave to better reflect the impact. So they basically another rework of a Blight Ranger. The only time we would understand was this a good thing or a bad thing only when we tried it out, because a lot of there is a lot of words like they fix this works that, like too many explanation need to just test it, because this explanation how this exotic will now work is not enough. You need, if they give us at least some video how this is going to be working, then it might be enough, but it is not enough. Need testing to be done. Now we go for Titan. Oh, Crest of Alpalupi. Over the past year, we have seen a lot of love when it comes to the new addition to things like the support frame autos. With the Edge of Fate, we took a look at some of the other clearly support-oriented exotic that aren't as popular to give them a leg up to modern sandbox standards. Yeah, true enough, nobody uses Crest of Alphalupi. Like, what's the point if you are putting a barricade and it just heals you? And besides, only one actual this thing just give you one extra orb of power. That's it. Starting with Crest of Alphalupi, we wanted to keep it subclass agnostic while letting it feel like the one-stop shop for the support Titan fantasy. Okay, more support stuff for Titan, I guess. Crest of Alphalupi added additional effects. Sustained damage while behind the barricade triggers another smaller healing pulse. Wow. Talking about support here. Healing your allies grants barricade energy. LOL. Nice. Phoenix Cradle. The next clear option was Phoenix Cradle. There is a lot of ways to generate sunspots, but it always felt like you couldn't create them where you wanted to maximize the effect of Phoenix Cradle. So we've tackled that while also hitting on very common piece of feedback when it comes to your Cradle enable sunspots visuals. Okay, Phoenix Cradle updated VFX on sunspots while the user has Phoenix Cradle to look more clearly supportive to allies. Okay, added additional effects, dealing sustained solar weapon damage in a sunspot extends its duration. Okay. Okay, providing solar buffs to allies have the chance to create a sunspot at your feet. Okay. MK44 stands aside. MK. Oh, this one MK44 stands aside. This one exotic from the Curse of Osiris, which gives you an overshield just by simply running. So what are they going to do? Stand aside, ironically left in the dust. This exotic lost its role with the introduction of Juggernaut and other changes that made the melee refund less valuable. We removed the melee energy refund on shoulder charge, hit, and overshield while sprinting. So it no longer give you melee energy and overshield while sprinting. So this is a complete rework then. These replaced by more arc-centric perks that turn you and your allies into an unstoppable force. 44 stand aside, sprinting with Juggernaut active periodically grants you a stack of static charge. Sprinting while amplified creates an area behind you that grants allies speed booster. Path of the Burning Steps. This is the legs for the Titan, which improves your solar weapon damage, and you are less. It's way harder for you to be frozen by stasis. We liked how Path of Burning Steps played in Season of the Wish before the previous changes to this exotic. The return to its glory days, gleefully frolicking with Polaris Lance. We added back some of its bonus damage by trying it to Roaring Flames. Path of Burning Steps increased solar weapon damage and solar ignition damage based on the number of stacks of Roaring Flames you have. Roaring Flame X1, 2 or 3 grants plus 10, plus 15 or plus 20% bonus solar weapon damage and plus 5, plus 10 and plus 15 bonus ignition damage. Stuck with Surge mods and reduces the duration of suspend, slow and freeze effects applied to you. It now reduces the duration of suspend, not only stasis and free, but also a suspend and slow from stasis. LOL. Titan have cool exotic to be sure. Abeyant Leap. Abeyant Leap, what is? Abeyant Leap. This is from Lightfall. the specific exotic which requires you for a Dranger Lash aspect for suspending in when you are on strand. So Abeyant Leap remains a potent choice, but we wanted to add a small nudge in effical, efficiency maybe, that won't overtune the whole suspend kit. Abeyant Leap now increases the duration of suspend applied by enhanced Dranger's Lashes. Okay, I guess. Action Warwick. Oh, Action Warwick, the most favorite exotic chess piece for Titan if you like assault rifles and especially light machine guns or LMG in short. These changes to Action Warwick go along well with the new weapon stat, giving you the option of building your loadout around the exotic to keep its new kill streak bonus rolling. Think Wormguard Caress for auto rifles and machine guns. Worm Gun Caress? Action Warwick, auto rifles or machine guns, final blows increase their stability, ammo generation, and damage? Oh my god. Now it's not just only refilling your ammo, but it also gives you a damage for assault rifles. Oh my god. Stacks up to 10 times. Higher stack counts expire more quickly. Oh. So you should see, because so the more you kill, the more the stacks and more quickly they are going to expire. Spirit of Alpha Lupi. Spirit of Alpha Lupi is also going to be inheriting one of the above changes to Crest of Alpha Lupi. Stoicism. Spirit of Alpha Lupi added healing your allies grants class ability energy. Okay. Oh, Warlocks. Oh, Warlocks. Let's see what they give you. Starfire Protocol, empowering damage. As it has been written on Starfire, Protocol has always felt pretty confusing. With the new world of stats, we figured it was high time to clear up this confusion and give this exotic a well-deserved boost. Starfire Protocol now also activates on a radiant damage. Increases the fusion grenade energy gain from dealing damage from 2.5% to 5%. Not that much. Reduced fusion grenade energy gain from final blows from 20%. What? Reduced fusion grenade energy gain from final blows from 20% to 15%? Really? Warlocks, I feel your pain, how badly you're suffering here. Wings of talking about useless exotics. Wings of Sacred Dawn. With the release of other items in the game, such as the Manticore SMG, we've seen some gripes when it comes to exotics that ask the player to survive while airborne. So to give some help to Wings of Sacred Dawn, we've taken a look at that. Wings of Sacred Dawn. Combatants are less accurate towards you while Tome of Dawn is active. This is similar to Manticore's effect. While the Solar Super is equipped, Solar Weapon Final Blows now grant restoration and reload your stowed weapons. Well, this is actually good. I must admit, this is actually good. Probably might even work in some way, I think. Fillwinter's Helm. For many exotic, it's been hard to keep up with the difficulty progression of activities, oftentimes leading to them being great in on power or lower content, but extremely feast famine in high difficult activities. Okay. For weapons, we can usually help remedy this with on sustained damage effect, and in the case of armor like Fillwinter's Helm, an equivalent on hit. Okay. Fillwinter's Helm added powered melee damage weakens target, applies 50% weaken. Weaken effects applied by the burst via melee or finisher final blows are unchanged. So it means that I no longer with the helm of with With Phil Winter's helm, I no longer need to just execute to use finishers. Instead, I just can kill them with powered melee, and that's it. And it applies this effect. This is actually a rework. Great. Prometheus Spur. Oh, again, talk about the useless exotic. In a world with so many Rift exotics, it's always been hard to make a combo Rift feel truly good for how many hoops it asks you to jump through. So with this pass, we've looked at an alternative approach to the combo Rift that will also let players hook into other atoms on the solar subclass to allow for more versatile benefits. Because actually, who in their right mind uses Promethean Spur? It was useless exotic, and let's see how are they going to change it. Promethean Spurs. Remove the perk Embers of Light. While a solar super is equipped, weapon defeats grants class ability energy, and weapon class ability and weapon defeats in a rift grants a different solar verb depending on the rift. While in a healing rift, weapon defeats create a pulse that grants radiant to you and your allies. While in an empowering rift, weapon defeats increased grant cure and to you and your nearby allies. Wow. This is actually good. This is actually a powerful rework. Probably finally the thing that maybe this time this exotic will finally shines and not be sitting in somebody's collection or in somebody's vault collecting dust. Boots of the Assembler. Currently, Speaker Sight largely outclasses Boots of the Assembler, albeit, unfortunately, these boots were really cool. Speaker Sight is similarly potent at healing allies, produces orbs to power your build, and doesn't require you to stand in a rift to get benefits. Plus, Boots of the Assembler's Noble Seekers are just not that smart, so we send them to college. They now target allies more reliably, spread their healing out much more efficiently, and give a more flexible benefit when they find an ally. Put to the assemble. Noble Seekers no longer spawn in waves and instead spawn at a constant rate based on the fire team size. Average number of Noble Seekers produced per 8 seconds is unchanged. It will produce 1 per ally in the time period. Noble Seeker tracking range changed to 40 meters, always from 20 to 40 meters based on the time alive. Noble Seekers will provide allies who have not been healed in that last 8 seconds. Noble Seekers can now target allies standing in the rift producing them. Noble Seekers will not target an ally more than once every 4 seconds. Noble Seekers will not detonate when passing near an ally they are not targeting. They will still detonate if they make direct impact with an ally they are not targeting. No longer grants extended rift duration on Noble Seeker impact with allies. Instead grants class ability energy on Noble Seeker impact with allies. Scales based on fireteam size. Pretty massive change to Boots of the Assembler. Well, probably it might be better because speaker sides really so many people use it the speaker side instead of Boots of the Assembler, while previously Boots of the Assembler were really great for the support build Warlock. Geomax Stabilizers. Oh, Geomax Stabilizers. We enjoyed watching players shoot out beams of concentrated arc energy just as much as you all did generating them, but with the launch of Edge of Fate we are limiting some of that unlimited power. Oh shit, here we go again. To compensate, we took a pass at retuning its sprinting for bolt charge. Gmax stabilized. Reduced super energy granted ionic traces to 4% from 7%. Again, a fucking nerf. Retuned sprinting to top of bolt charge. Decreased bolt charge stacks required before sprinting will grant additional stacks from 6 to 5. Decrease the amount of time required for sprinting to start granting ball charge from 2 seconds to 1. Again, the Geomax stabilizers received both nerf and buff at some point. So it's fly in the lotion. Increase the rate ball charge is granted while this effect is active from 1 every 1.5 seconds to 1 every 0.33 seconds. Like I said, fly in the lotion. Something they nerf, something they buff. Final shape bungee rewards. We're almost at the end. Final shape, but not too late to jump to the gate. Fight against the Hordes of Darkness. Defeat one of the biggest foes yet. Some things. We're approaching launch of 8. Now bungee rewards. We want money, we want money, we want money, we want money. Player support report. Ascension aspect isn't working with certain armor mods. Something new. Reuse. Don't know. Enhanced recycle energy grants to no energy back. The champ title reused. And speaking to it, reused. Step 6 reused. Due to this quest being reused. Sometimes in the reused. Damage reused. When tracking, I reused something. The term of one. Reused memento. Reused second filament. Reused. Only 2 new, probably new things they add here, but mostly it's Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V. 2 Vex enjoy art. They are robots, so technically they shouldn't, but they also have radiolarian term, and that's kind of an organic Milky Way. So who knows? All I know is that we enjoyed the Art Deco inspired Vex art very much. Yeah, nice, very nice drawing. Triple kill. Who doesn't? Oh, another PvP montage with a sniper rifle. New Land Beyond. Who would have thought? And with that, this tweet is over. Hope you found all those changes coming to your melee builds and exotic armor pieces interesting. We're pretty sure some of you have already started theorizing about the new builds and combos that will be most fun to play with new when the Age of Fate launches. Let us know what you got. What got you the most excited? Destiny 2 community team. So I wish that every Thursday they give us TWABs like this, because this was pretty interesting. I can't wait to finally try these changes, because this will be interesting. Okay. Thank you for joining me. This was a really long TWAB. At least it's not water. There wasn't that much of a water there. Mostly interesting, some news about changes, exotics, a lot of things changing. They will also have on Tuesday developer stream. We will see it. Right. This was Wesker. Remember, it's Wesken time.